Hello and welcome back to my channel, where today I grabbed the Hela palette again. This is my newest purchase actually, and it's just so beautiful. I am having tons of fun with it. The last time I used this, I did some greens and yellows. I have dipped slightly into the pinks, but I wanted today's look to be quite a smoky pink sort of thing. So this is what I came up with. I did use a white matte for the lower lash line, but aside from that, everything was taken out of the Hela palette, and I think it's beautiful. So if you want to see how I did it, then just stick around. If you're new to my channel, hi there. My name is Rachel, and I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom who loves to play with colorful eyeshadow. If you would like to see lots of colorful content on your timeline, you may want to consider liking and subscribing because I upload about 3 videos a week. I'm going to start off by priming my eyes. I always do this every single time. Today I'm going to be using the Glamlight Icing Primer in the shade White Frosting. The reason I prime my eyes is because it gives a clean canvas for applying the shadows. Also, I have slightly hooded eyes, and so oftentimes my shadows will crease over time. Some shadows are worse for creasing than others. For example, the Beauty Bay formula, the Glamlight formula, those always crease on me, and pretty quickly after I've applied my shadow, honestly, particularly Beauty Bay. That one's like, for me, the worst culprit when it comes to creasing. However, I have learned that the Glamlight Icing Primer is actually really good for creasing. It really seems to help, especially this eye that I'm doing right now. This one is a little bit deeper than my other side, and so this is the one that creases first and soonest. So the icing primer from Glamlight is actually pretty great, and I recommend it for anybody who has creasing issues, but just in general, I think it's a better primer than my experience with the NYX primer, as well as just a plain concealer. This icing primer seems to hold better. It has a little bit more of a tacky surface, but it doesn't add texture on my skin the way that the NYX primer does. Like, I'll put the NYX primer down and my skin automatically looks drier and more textured, whereas with this primer, I don't have that issue. It just kind of creates a nice blank, slightly tacky canvas for me to start working on. So I really like this primer, and I plan on replacing it, no questions asked, when I start getting low. I'm excited to play with the Hela palette today. I haven't played with it in a little while, and I really love this color story. I think it's beautiful, and I really like Oden's eye formula, so it'll be a good day. Today I want to do more of a pink, like a bit of a smoky pink look. So I'm going to use Hela Goddess Soot, and then probably these two shimmers. This is called River, and this is called Double Sided. I don't think I'll dip into the greens. I think I'll just stay with the pinks. I might take this yellow here called Rebirth as an inner corner highlight, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. We'll see. So first thing I want to do is take a medium blending brush. I'm going to get the shade Hela, which is the lighter of the two pink mattes, and I'm going to lay this in my crease. Every time I lay in my crease, I always start in the outer corner because that's where I want the pigment to be most concentrated, and then I work it from there. I'll create the shape that I want, whether I wing it out or whether I do more of a rounded outer corner, and then I just go back and forth with the shadow towards the bridge of the nose, onto the eyelid if I need to for the look, and I'll also gently start blending up towards the brow bone. If you go in really lightly with this shade, it definitely looks more peach. You can add more pink and build it up to be more pink. It's certainly a buildable formula, but at least on my skin tone, if it's applied quite lightly, it certainly looks peach. So that would actually be fun to pair with the yellows if you wanted more of an orangey peachy sort of a look that doesn't have a leaning towards pink. You could get a very peachy look by taking the Hela shade very lightly and combining it with the yellows. With a small blending brush, I'm taking the same Hela shade and just bringing it onto my lower lash line. I won't go all the way into the inner corner, but I want it to be on the outer half. And I'm keeping the shape pretty round because I want it to be a little bit smokier. With a blending eye brush from e.l.f., this one is just round shaped and a little bit dense, but not as dense as a pencil brush, for example. I want to take the shade Goddess, which is the dark pink matte, and place this in my outer corner, outer crease, and just bring a new layer of pink to the outer area, but not totally overlapping all of the transition shade. I really like Oden's eyeshadows. They perform so nicely. They build, and they're pigmented. They're very definite. Like, they go where you want them to go. They stay there. They don't move around a lot. And they don't require a lot of blending. They usually work together with other Oden's eyeshadows quite nicely. I really like Oden's eye. It's funny because on the discount sites now, Mercari and Poshmark, I'm seeing a lot more Uden's Eye stuff listed lately, and I think it's because Uden's Eye had their mystery boxes last month, was it? Or a couple of weeks ago, they started their mystery boxes. And the mystery boxes were obviously several items you didn't know what you were getting for a really good price. And that's just a way that companies use to clear out inventory and get ready for new products to come in. But it's a great way to expand your collection, and you know, if you really like a brand and you don't have much from them, then get a mystery box and you'll get several new products for an amazing price. But if you already have a decent collection from that company and you get a mystery box, you might end up with duplicates within your collection. And I think that's what several people are finding, that, you know, they already had that palette, so now they're listing them on the discount sites. At this point, I don't really want anything else from Uden's Eye, like anything from their older inventory. I've looked at them and I've made my decisions based on what I did want, and I got those things, and I really did want the Hela palette. So now I'm just waiting to see what comes out next. With the small blending brush that I used to bring the pink to the lower lash line, I'm going to continue in the shade Goddess and carry that in the lower outer corner. Not quite as far as the light pink, but making sure that it's far enough that I can add in one more deepening shade when I need to. And with that brush, now I'm going to take the shade Soot, which is actually a very deep plummy sort of color. From far away you might think it's black, but it's not black, it's a deep plum, and it's very pretty. It's a great deepening shade, and it's fully matte, but it's not totally opaque, so it's not like it's going to cover up and obscure whatever you're laying it on top of. It is, it's a buildable matte, so you can lay it down and it will deepen out the color you're putting it over, but not totally hide it. So it's a great deepening shade, and if you want, you can go more dramatic and more dark, or you could keep it on the lighter side. Okay, so the two shimmers that I want to use for today are two that I haven't used at all yet. I do not know, I haven't used them yet. So I've seen them in swatches, I've seen Angelica use them, of course, but I haven't personally used them. They are River and Double-Sided. I'm going to take a flat C or shader brush. I'm going to start by taking the shade River, and I think I'll spray it. I usually spray my shimmers because it helps them perform a bit better, and it gives me more control over whether or not I have fallout and where exactly the shadow is placed. So I'm gonna lay River down on the center of my lid, going out into those mattes in the outer corner, but I don't want to carry this all the way to the inner corner because I want to put Double-Sided there as a bit more of a brighter shade. Uden's Eye mattes are something else. I have not yet encountered a formula in any other brand which reminds me of Uden's Eye mattes. They're just different. They're very light, iridescent, super sparkly, like fairy dust. And when I get to this outer corner, I'm taking my the blending brush that I used for the pinks, and I'm just going over the intersection of shimmer and matte to help soften it a little. Then I'll take this brush and I'll flip it over to the other side, and I'm going to grab Double-Sided, and I'm excited to see how this one looks on the lid as well. So I'm dipping into the pan, and then I will spray my brush, and then I'll place this on the inner corner and use it. Oh, look at that. It's kind of a, ooh, it's kind of pinky orangey fiery, isn't it? I wasn't expecting that. Interesting. I really wasn't expecting it to be this orangey. I do like the way it looks, but I think that Double-Sided shade is more orange than I was expecting. And so I'm taking River back on my brush, and I'm just kind of overlapping the orange a bit more, dragging River more towards the inner corner to conceal that orange a little bit. So that the orange, I keep saying orange, to me in my mirror and lighting right now, it looks quite orange. The shade Double-Sided is going to be more of an inner corner highlight than covering up a third of the lid, because I think it was kind of taking over a little bit. It's really pretty, I'm not complaining, I think it's beautiful. It just isn't quite the shade that I was expecting. And maybe that's a matter of my skin tone, maybe it's a matter of the shadows that I've paired it with. It would probably look different if I used it with the yellows or greens. Okay, and also, I have been wanting for ages to do a white lower lash line. Now, I already have pink out here, but I think I'm probably going to grab the Lost in Los Angeles palette from BH Cosmetics because there's a white matte in there, and I think I'll do that on the inner corner and like the inner half of the lower lash line. because that'll also add a nice contrast to make the deeper shades look even deeper without adding more dark shadow to them, and brighten up by the bridge of the nose, which I personally like and I think is most flattering on myself. So let me do that. I will grab a white matte and do the inner corner and till about here. I'm also going to finish up the other side, throw on some liner, mascara, and then I'll show you how it all turns out. Okay, so here's the finished look. I really love it. I think it's so gorgeous. I decided not to do a winged eyeliner because I wanted to keep it more of a blunted, rounded outer corner. So I just took my eyeliner and I went really close to the base of the lashes on the upper lash line, and that's it. As you can see, I did grab my Lost in Los Angeles palette, and I took the white matte, which is fabulous, and I put that on the rest of the lower lash line, and then I tight lined with a white eyeliner. And there you go. Put on some mascara. On my face, I have the Froze highlighter palette from BH Cosmetics, which has 6 really pretty highlighter shades. This is the only highlighter I own. However, within the Hela palette, you can use the shade double-sided as a highlighter. It's actually quite beautiful. And so what I did was I took one of the shadows, or one of the highlighters from the Froze palette, and I put that on my cheekbones, but then I also took the double-sided shade. And I mean, I don't go crazy with any of this stuff. It's pretty subtle overall, but I put the double-sided shade on top of it. So I have the highlighter, but then it's got a little hint of that orangey glow that is also reflected in my eyes. And on my lips, I'm wearing the Burt's Bees Lip Shimmer in the shade Watermelon. So that's the whole look. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's so pretty. And you know what? It is so fun to me that you can just throw on a couple of eyeshadows and just step up your game. Like, I could just put on a pretty dress and be ready for an evening out or something. I just think that eyeshadow can be kind of transformative, and that you don't need to do like a full face, you don't need to contour, you don't need to add all these layers and layers of different elements. Just a little bit of eyeshadow and mascara and your whole look is transformed. And it's really fun. So here's the look. I really love it. I hope you like it too. I appreciate you hanging out with me and clicking on my video. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for being with me today, and until we see each other again, I hope you have a great day. Bye!